It's Wolf, and it's time for me to show you guys the multiplayer in Call of Duty Ghosts. However, before I do that, I want to show you guys squads mode, because I mentioned in the very first video in this playthrough that I wasn't probably going to play squads, but nonetheless I kind of want to show you guys what it actually looks like, so I'm just going to do that quick before we jump into the normal, traditional Call of Duty multiplayer. So squads mode, like I said in the first video, kind of, I think, a way that they wanted to sort of push people into playing more team-based Call of Duty rather than solo play, because like a lot of people I think play Call of Duty, even though it's a multiplayer game, they don't get together with their friends to play it very often, and I think that this was sort of an attempt to get people to do that. But the issue is, I don't think that many people are actually interested in doing that. Because, like, I know myself, I rarely ever play Call of Duty with other people that I know. I usually just play it with strangers online. So, anyway, there's a couple different modes you can play. You can also play this, like, offline solo, and then that's sort of a way to play, like, a survival mode against other soldiers, not against the aliens from Extinction. Sort of more similar to Advanced Warfare's survival mode and Modern Warfare 3's survival mode. Anyway, though, yeah, there's some different modes you can play. You squad up with your friends, like I said, and a lot of them also have some sort of AI. I think one, like I said, is sort of a survival mode and stuff. I don't know, I never really played it. I don't think that many people really played it in general, and I think that's sort of why it hasn't quite returned, at least in like this form in Call of Duty yet, since Ghosts, really. It's an interesting idea. I just think that they sort of overestimated how many Call of Duty players actually want to or have friends to play Call of Duty with. Anyway, though, on to the normal multiplayer. So we'll hop over into that. I'm pretty sure it will work even after name change because it's a PlayStation 4 Call of Duty, but I know that not all of the Call of Duties like to play nice with the whole PSN name change thing. Modern Warfare 2, I believe it was, didn't work with that, and I haven't played through it yet, but Black Ops 2 also doesn't really like to play nice with that. So, anyway, multiplayer. We're going to play online. Now, this Call of Duty did a lot of cool stuff for Call of Duty in a lot of different ways. First off, it's the first Call of Duty game where you could actually customize a soldier, and thereby also the first Call of Duty game where you can play as where you can play as a girl, which was a really big deal because, like, that's, I don't know, I mean, there's girls that play Call of Duty, so they were really happy about that. So anyway, as you guys can see, you also, this is another interesting thing that Call of Duty did. It gave you squad members and not just loadouts. So you could have all these different squad members, and you picked which one you wanted to play as, but within each squad member, you also have they also have their own loadouts, which is kind of interesting. And then the squad thing, I think, has to do with the squads mode again. I don't know, they really, like, did a lot of stuff with that, but it just didn't catch on as they would have liked. So yeah, I guess here's my loadouts. I haven't played Call of Duty in forever, and what was it? You can customize, how is that you customize? Square, there we go. And then, so like I said, you can customize, there's a whole bunch of special outfits you can get. If I remember right, they had like Zakaev and characters from other Call of Duty games that you could play as. This game did a lot with DLC, which was kind of cool too, because you could change the announcer voice. And so, like, Snoop Dogg was a pack, which I'll show you guys in a second. But yeah, so there's gender, you can choose between male and female. I might actually change my stuff, but there's different faces and stuff you can choose. Actually, why am I not on? I have male F disruptive, but not male F unlocked. It's kind of weird. Let's be disruptive though, you know, get the dirt on our character's face and everything now. Yeah, you can unlock a bunch of stuff. There's some DLC stuff like I showed a minute ago, and I don't know, I think my character, does he have like looks like almost like a diving uniform on? I don't know, probably just leave it like it is. But I usually like to try to make my characters look in military games as like least military as possible. So you'll see me playing some games and they'll have like I'll have characters that are dressed in like street clothes and stuff, but it's like Call of Duty patches. That's kind of the whole normal thing that you would expect from Call of Duty. Clan tag, I don't believe I even have one right now. You can change your dog to a wolf, because if you get the guard dog kill streak, you can change it to a wolf, which was pretty cool. Kind of surprised they never added any other animals. Don't really know what other animals they could have added. Maybe like a coyote, because those are kind of similar to dogs and wolves. But yeah, they have two options for that. The wolf is a DLC, so if you want a Wulf. And then the announcer voice, there's a couple different options. I could have sworn that they had more than Snoop Dogg and Drill Instructor. But yeah, you can have Snoop Dogg tell you that your flag has been captured in this game, which is, I don't know, I'm surprised they never implemented that in another Call of Duty. 'Cause so far as I know, they never have implemented that anywhere else. I'm going to leave my layouts alone for now, or my loadout alone for now, just play with those. Don't believe this game had any DLC weapons, but because this was before Call of Duty started doing all the supply drop stuff. Although some Call of Duties before this had DLC, like Black Ops 2 had DLC weapons sometimes. Anyway, let's play a little bit. But I think I'm going to try for the first game here, because I usually play about 3 games in the multiplayer in these playthroughs. I'm going to actually start off with Cranked, which is really similar to Team Deathmatch, but is a really cool mode where if you get a kill, you have to continue getting kills or else you explode. Says there's 0 people playing, so I'll give it a little bit, see if anybody happens to jump in and maybe play Cranked with me. Otherwise, we might end up just playing Team Deathmatch, because there's only like 600 people online, I think it said. Looks like we're not going to find a game, so I guess we're probably just going to go with normal Team Deathmatch, because that's usually where most people are, 367 players. So hopefully, don't tell me no games found, because I know you're going to find a game. I know that there's over 300 other people in this. There we go. Okay, now we need to... Okay, well now 50 potential games found. That's cool. Alright, that reminds me. I need to mute people with microphones. I always forget to do that. And then, like, I go through and edit and hope that nobody talked. Because sometimes, like, if somebody said something, like, mean, I'm gonna have to, like, redo the video. How am I ranked 48 in this game? I barely ever played this. Like, so far as I remember. I don't remember playing this that much. But I guess then again, maybe because it was the first Call of Duty on next gen, and kind of the first game that I really played a bunch when I got my PS4. That kind of makes sense, I suppose. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Like I mentioned before, Call of Duty Ghosts, despite kind of people being like, oh, it's really different than other Call of Duties, wasn't actually that different than other Call of Duties. So, yeah, the gameplay is just more along the lines of Black Ops and Modern Warfare than it is Infinite Warfare and the newer Black Ops games. So, well, yeah, we'll see. And then another thing that... Oh, I don't have any grenades. Man, I made some weird loadouts when I would play these games back in, like, high school. This game also had some pretty unique weapons, or at least, like, naming conventions for weapons. Like, this gun is called the Honey Badger. I don't know why. It became kind of a meme when the game was first released, because everybody's like, ha! Honey Badgers! Because there was still the whole joke about the nothing stops Honey Badger stuff. Has an integrated silencer, which is sort of cool. It got brought back in Infinite Warfare as a variation of the NV4, which is cool. I kind of like it quite a bit. In Infinite Warfare, I used the NV4 variant quite a bit, at least like especially in zombies mode, because I play a lot of Infinite Warfare zombies. There's also the Bulldog, which is a shotgun, and just, yeah, they did some interesting naming stuff with the weapons in this game. Like I said, oh geez, so much stuff going on at once. Some of the stuff is a little bit different. There's no UAVs, so far as I know. I've mentioned that a lot, but that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it actually kind of is, because that's a very... Oh, see, he has a guard dog, and it looks like Riley from the campaign mode. It is kind of a big shift in the way Call of Duty plays. I mean, it doesn't change that much, because you can still see people on the map when they shoot their guns and stuff, and you can still kind of get a UAV with the whole SATCOM thing or whatever, but... yeah. As for other stuff to talk about, next playthrough is probably going to be Call of Duty World War II, but I'm not completely sure about that, because I'm trying to... I want to record World at War through Black Ops 4 all kind of at the same time, since those are all part of the Black Ops series of Call of Duty games, and I'd like to sort of go in order with those. So that, though, depending on like if I get those recorded or not over my winter break, then maybe those will be next. Also, alongside that, just apart from Call of Duties, planning on like doing some other playthroughs of some other games at some point. Not really sure what exactly. I had an idea the other night of some series. Oh, that thing that just got destroyed, by the way, was pretty much this game's version of a UAV, which I actually have. So it's SATCOM, and I've mentioned it a whole bunch of times, but it scans like one area, but not the whole map. But if you get enough of them, it kind of acts as a UAV. Not aerial though. I don't know. There are still aerial score streaks. I really don't understand why they made that decision. I remember a bunch of people sort of complained about it a little bit. But what I was saying, yeah, as for future playthroughs, there's still a bunch of Call of Duty games that I need to play through, and then also weird naming conventions for the guns. There's the chainsaw, which somebody else was using there. I might go and play with some of my loadouts also and show you guys some other weapons. But what was I saying? I know that I want to do, whoa, voice crack. I know that I want to do Max Payne 3 at some point, but I'm trying to figure out if I can record that off of my PC, because then I can record it in 1080p rather than 720p off of a PlayStation 3, but I don't know if that'll work. I had another series. Oh, I should do Battlefield at some point, because the campaign modes in those games are pretty similar to campaign in Call of Duty. Like, they're just pretty straightforward and linear and easy to record. There was another series that I was thinking of. I just don't remember what it was. Somebody's using a microphone. I'm gonna have to mute them real quick. Mute players. You know what? I'll just do that. Oh wait, did I just unmute somebody? Wait, what? Oh. Wait, why is it muting two people? Maybe. Why is it? That's weird. Huh. Muting two people at the end of the list, unless maybe both of those people have like a friend using split screen, because I know that if you do that, then I think it mutes both people at once. It's kind of weird. Yeah, this Call of Duty does have split screen. Actually, come to think of it, Call of Duty is one of the few games that I think consistently still tends to have split screen multiplayer, which I haven't brought up really in any of the other multiplayer playthroughs. But yeah, a lot of games started stopping including multiplayer mode. That, wow, we destroyed them. They stopped including split screen multiplayer in their multiplayer modes. A lot of video games stopped including that. But Call of Duty still does split screen. I can't remember if they ever stopped doing that or not. Oh yeah, also this level has... Didn't Ghost... I think Ghost also had a thing that was like the nuke, but wasn't exactly like the nuke, because as you guys can see, that big bomb went off in the background on the score screen here. I believe if you trigger that in a match, though, that it will change the way the level looks, and I think there's a couple levels that are like that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make a different class here. I like how the gold knife is its own thing. Seeing that machine gun, I thought I had the chainsaw unlocked. Okay, so let's go ahead and customize this a little bit, I suppose. And do I have any camo? I doubt I do. Don't really want the 44 Magnum, because that's not really the gold PDW. Huh. Use that. Is there not a sight? You can't put a sight on this? It's kind of weird. How many... What else can I put in here? Like to sort of... 9-bang... Perks... Oh yeah, the perk system in this game was also weird, wasn't it? Because you could have a certain level of perks, but then not... So confusing. The strike package was cool though. They gave you different options for how you wanted to get your kill streaks. Because they were actually score streaks, if I remember right in this game. So assault is just like the traditional ones that if you die they get reset. Support, they persist through your deaths, so it just continually like goes, like it builds up, but I think it takes longer. And then specialist, I believe, yeah, these also reset on death, but they give you perks rather than like a traditional score streak stuff. I don't know. Multiplayer in this game, like I said, more towards the traditional Call of Duty multiplayer, but also still kind of confusing. Anyway, let's try like 2 more matches, I suppose. Reinforce, that was the mode that was sort of like, oh geez, I'm trying to remember. It was like a combination of 2 modes where it was like semi-permadeath, like you would die but you can get revived kind of thing. Anyway, this level, you know, looking at this level, Freight, I don't know if this level is at all based off of a single player level. Like a lot of times Call of Duty levels end up being like from the single player campaign in some form, but I don't believe that there's any levels in the single player that are like this. I mean, I guess there's some exceptions to that. Like there are maps in Call of Duty games that aren't based off single player levels. A lot of times they somehow relate to it, and like I don't remember a level in single player at all looking like this. Oh, the chainsaw also doesn't have aim down sights because it's such a giant gun. It has like a zoom kind of thing. So that's cool. It reminds me of like now that I think about it, it reminds me of the Mauler. Oh, and then field orders. Yeah, if you do a field order, you get some sort of bonus. I don't remember what exactly it is, but you pick up field orders from other players who have them. So if you kill a player that has a field order, then you pick up their field order. It might be random. Either way, you get a field order when you kill a character that has a field order, and then pick up their briefcase. And then if you have a field order and somebody kills you, they can pick up the field order and do that. Another thing that never really returned in any other Call of Duty so far as I know, just because I don't think that many people really paid attention to it. It added some variation to the gameplay, I guess you could say, but in many ways it just kind of, it's like easy to ignore, and also some of them are just weird. It's like you're in the middle of a multiplayer match Call of Duty and it's like, okay, get 5 kills with a knife. Like, how? So yeah. You know, one thing that I'm noticing as I'm playing some of these older Call of Duties, so this is the first Call of Duty ever released on PlayStation 4, Xbox 3, or Xbox One. Really surprised that I've not encountered any hackers in any of the next-gen PlayStation, or not, well, any of the PlayStation 4, Xbox One era Call of Duty games, because back on PS3, even before, like, people had started to transition to the next gen consoles, there were hackers in like those games, and now the PlayStation 5 gonna come out, you know, at some point in the near future. I don't know, I'm just kind of surprised that that I haven't run into any hackers. I guess maybe more secure or whatever. Like if I were to play Ghosts on PS3, I probably would find hackers. So anyway, play one more match. That was kind of a short one, but I think you guys kind of get the point. It really is pretty similar in a lot of ways to older Call of Duty games. I don't know, I just don't have a whole ton to say about it, I suppose. I'm trying to think if there were any other interesting, like, fun facts that I remember about Ghosts. Not really. It was released on the Wii U. I mentioned that in another part of this playthrough. I own it on the Wii U because I bought my Wii U. I want to buy Black Ops 2 for the Wii U, and eventually I probably will. But I couldn't find it for sale anywhere. But I found Ghosts for sale in like GameStop one time for next to no money. You know, if you guys are ever looking for some more games to play and like have a Wii or a Wii U and like don't have that much money but still want something to play, go buy like some Wii or Wii U games, because those are so cheap most of the time. Like GameStop especially. I know that GameStop gets a lot of crap sometimes for the whole used game sales stuff, but like they are so trying to get rid of that stock of games so bad. Like, they have so many Wii and Wii U games for not that much money. I bought Watch Dogs for, oh geez, I think they had like a deal running, and it was like buy 2 get 1 half off. So I bought like on used everything, and I bought like a Wiimote because my old Wiimote had broke. Bought a Wiimote and Watch Dogs and Splatoon, I think, and got it all for just like no money practically. Like the Wiimote was the most expensive thing. Also, this is that level that I had mentioned earlier in the playthrough where they had talked about a lot about how like, oh, the levels are gonna change as you play through them. and how this was kind of the only level that actually did that, and this was a DLC level. Now, albeit this game, this level was free DLC, but nonetheless, it was still DLC. But yeah, as you play through this level, as you guys can see, you're kind of stuck between two skyscrapers. You're kind of, it's like you're part of a skyscraper almost that's fallen sideways because there's windows here and everything. As this match goes on, this skyscraper chunk will continue to fall down between these two skyscrapers, which is, it looks cool, but also is another thing that I just don't think many people really notice as they're playing. So yeah, I mean, you guys will see it happen. And I don't think very much about the level actually changes as you play, and as it falls down. One kill while prone still. I have no idea where he shot me from. Okay, now it makes sense. Oh yeah, so we just, yeah, see, we're falling. But like, when you're looking at the actual level, you don't really notice it that much. Man, the chainsaw is not wanting to work with me. Like I said, this gun reminds me a lot of the Mauler from Infinite Warfare. Like a very similar, your character kind of holds it this way, like giant machine gun kind of thing. If I remember right, in Infinite Warfare, the Mauler actually had a variant also eventually that had like 5 shots at once, so it turned it into this like giant chain gun, shotgun, machine gun thing. Wow, I am doing awful. I don't think I've gotten a single kill. Luckily, I've got enough ammo to just continue shooting.
Enemy care package incoming.
Yeah, Call of Duty Ghosts is not one of the Call of Duties that I'm actually good at. I've mentioned before how, like, Call of Duty games, it's always pretty much all or nothing for me. Yeah, this is one of those ones that's nothing. I am so bad at Call of Duty Ghosts. Multiplayer, at least. Where did he just get shot from? So what was I talking about, though? I was talking about... Oh yeah, so this game released on the Wii U. Last Call of Duty, so far as I know... Oh, we're falling again. Last Call of Duty, so far as I know, to be released on a Nintendo console. Because, actually, a lot of companies... This is kind of sidetracking from talking about Call of Duty and everything. Ooh, we ranked up. Sidetracking talking about Call of Duty and everything, but a lot of... Nope, didn't want to throw a 9-bang. Wanted to... a lot of companies stopped releasing violent video games for the Wii, well, for Nintendo consoles in general, which I know is completely unrelated, but it's something interesting to talk about, kind of relates to this, because Call of Duty Ghosts, like I said, last Call of Duty game currently to be released for a Nintendo console. Similarly, Watch Dogs was the last, like, game by... Why do I keep throwing that? I'm so used to, you know what it is? I'm so used to the bumper jumper control layout in the Exo movement Call of Duties. That's, anyway. Ubisoft. Watch Dogs was the last violent game that they released on Nintendo console, I believe. And I think that they released... I don't know, I think they were gonna release Watch Dogs Bad Blood, which was DLC for the first Watch Dogs, but it was kind of its own, like, mini, small campaign. Like, it was kind of a separate, like it was almost like how, First Light is, like, its own game, but is sort of like a expanded DLC for Infamous Second Son. Watch Dogs, what did I say, Bad Blood, I think is what it was called. Did I call it First Blood? I don't know. Anyway, Watch Dogs Bad Blood was, like, I think gonna be released on the Wii U, but then never got released on the Wii U. Yeah, not a lot of violent games, but then the Switch came out, and people started, like, companies have started to sort of now start releasing their violent titles again on Nintendo consoles, because, like, everybody owns a Nintendo Switch. So anyway, yeah, that's completely unrelated to this, but Call of Duty, Ghosts, it's a pretty cool game. Now that people look back at it, people seem to enjoy it a lot more than when it was first released. I still suck at it, despite it being 6 years later. But yeah, that is Ghosts. Multiplayer, at least. I gotta still show you guys the extinction mode. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, and bye bye.